to write more books, oh God. God, we give you thanks, we give you praise, we give you honor, oh God. And God, we pray, oh God, that everyone who was here today, oh God, will really give praise and thanks, oh God, for this person, oh God. And God, we give you thanks, we give you praise, and we give you honor. And we thank you, oh God, for what you are doing and what you are doing already, oh God. So we give you praise, we give you honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Empress Stanley joined the family in August 2008. She spent 4 years with us, reading for a bachelor's degree in management studies, and she graduated with honors in October 2012. Throughout her student career here, Empress was hardworking, organized, persistent, focused, and sought help whenever she needed it. And she always had a ready smile on her face at all times. And I'm sure all of these qualities have brought her to this point, a published author, and accomplished nothing of which she is proud. We, the UWI family, wish her all the very best, and feel sure that this will be first of many book launches. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
So, my duty to officially welcome everyone, and it's a grand occasion when we support one of our own, as a teacher, as a friend, Ms. Empress Stanley. As we go along, we want to other nations as we discuss this day. Next on the agenda, instead of just everyone chemical, we see Mr. King is here and ready. So we will not introduce Mr. King.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It is a pleasure to be here to on this grand occasion of the launching of the book by Empress Stanley, the book entitled Insight into Life. I just want to say something about the author. Empress and the author in the book, and the first word that describes it ambitious. Empress is an ambitious practical teacher with 8 years experience, and I can testify to the fact that she is a person who has set high goals and has really strived diligently, persistently to achieve those goals. She is an entrepreneur, vice president youth entrepreneurs professionals, and the manager of global computer franchise. Empress is always a hard worker, very persistent, very diligent, and as I mentioned before, and she pursued a Bachelor of Science in Management Studies, which she completed honors. Currently she's pursuing MBA in Angela Ruskin University. And Empress is a person who is always willing to seek help whenever she needs it. And she is one who is a very hard worker. And it's no surprise, therefore, that she has chosen to embark on this venture of being author, writing the book, and insight into life. And the book gives you several lessons that you can learn and apply to our own personal lives. It contains 20 short stories. And each short story illustrates a moral at the end of each story. And some of the stories are accompanied by a graphic that relates to the story. The book is a very inspirational one and conveys some wonderful moral values, which are like Christian values and faith in Jesus Christ. They are well written and conversational style, easy to read and relate to everyday situations and people. And so it's a book that I think that anyone who has a copy would really treasure. I just want to highlight some of the morals found in that book, because I found that they were very applicable in many situations. One of those was find out the facts before you act. And the story was told that Samuel was accused of his father of smoking without checking the facts. And so oftentimes you come to premature conclusions without really checking to see what the facts really are, rather than going on hearsay. So the moral is find the facts before you act. In one of the stories entitled A Dream Come True, I believe this is a story that illustrates the life of Empress, where the story dealt with the efforts of passing English. And the moral of the story is never give up, fight to the very end. And that has been Empress's motto throughout her life. She never gives up. There's always a fight to the end, and no matter what it takes to achieve her goals, she will do it. And so it's a dream come true in terms of having this book published. One of the other morals also found in the book is education can empower individuals to make wise decisions in life. Education can empower an individual to make wise decisions in life. And it's so very true that education has become the doorway through which one achieves upward mobility, as well as it imparts to us that way of making wise decisions. Unfortunately, we have too many of our young people who don't value education. And it burns me at times to see how our young people have all the opportunities, have everything that they desire, but don't think of what it means to be an educated person. And so they would just go to school, go to life, meander through life, without any goal, without any dream, without any hope. And no wonder many of our young people end up in ways that are undesirable. If only we can see how valuable education is. And so in moral stories, it can empower individuals to make wise decisions in life. One of the other morals also is think of the consequences of your actions before you take a leap. Think of the consequences of the actions before you take a leap. We also have to think of what we do. Because every action that we carry out always has a consequence. And so there's always the action and the consequence that follows. And you have to think of what happens if I do this, if I don't do this, what will be the end result. And so the moral of the story is think of the consequences of your actions before you take the leap. One of the other morals I found very interesting was help others to excel in life rather than try to destroy them. And this is so true that we need to encourage and not to people who could be encouragement to others, to be a help to others to excel in life, rather than seek to pull down and to destroy. If we become a society of encouragers and helpers, it will become a transformed society. And so this is a lesson for all of us to keep to heart. And finally, in the training pilot story, and the moral is never lose hope. No matter the situation, you can inspire an entire generation. Never lose hope. No matter the situation, you may just inspire an entire generation. And hope is always so very important. To live in a world of despair is to live in a terrible place. And so we can never give up. We also have to hope that today, tomorrow, is going to be a better day. And by living in hope, we might provide inspiration that others need. Not only for ourselves, but for an entire generation. And these morals have been exemplified by Empress in so many ways. She is an inspiration to many. And we can learn a lot from her that no matter what our starting point in life, we can always aspire for the skies. And so today is a story of inspiration, and the book is one that inspires and insight into life. Thank you.
Okay, the pleasure is mine to introduce our guest speaker. He's an attorney. First of all, his name is Vaughn Woodley. He's an attorney at law by profession. He's also a lecturer in the Clarence Fitzroy College. He lectures law. He enjoys reading the classics and West Indian literature from Canada. Without any further ado, we'll bring him to the microphone. He has been an inspiration in Miss Stanley's life, and we will listen and hear what he has to say.
Your Excellency, Sir Tapley Stephen, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. When Empress gave me this task, the first thing I told her is that I'm not very good at speaking before audiences, and therefore I will be very, very brief. But in being brief, I do hope to do justice to this task set before me. Before me is a dubious task, and that task, I am told, or instructed rather, is to be a speaker. When Empress told me of a new enterprise, and by enterprise I mean this book, I was more than excited for her, but quietly felt a sense of quiet accomplishment. Why this quiet accomplishment? I met Empress about 12 years ago as a student at CFB College, as I was then her lecturer. At first glance, I did not form much of an opinion of her, but as time marched on, I saw Empress blossom and flourish, and indeed she did flourish. But before any plant can blossom and flourish, it must be watered and nurtured. So let me tell you a little about how this cedar, and I wish to describe Empress as a cedar. I wish to describe how she blossomed into what I call the cedar. And this is just one experience. So Empress wrote an essay in history, and being the hard taskmaster she knew I was, or so it is alleged, or she delivered the essay, and this was her caveat. I still imagine seeing her wringing her hands in distress. She said, "Mr. Woodley, may not be the best, but I tried." I read the essay, then I took her aside and I hinted. I always hint. Maybe you need to try writing this way. And this way, I meant, and I hinted, that her writing style can improve if she tried a few of the methods which I suggested. She would bring work to me fairly often until we both agreed she was at a standard a sixth form student should be. But she was not merely content with meeting the standard. She wanted to exceed that standard, and exceeded she did. By the time Empress graduated CFB College, she was on a trajectory only a force greater than hers could slow her down. And like an eagle, she spread her wings. Today we are here to celebrate with her the formal presentation of her work and insight into life. I dare say that this work is not a collection of her life's achievement, but rather a glimpse into what is to come. As you gently work your way through the collection of short stories, you will find that the narratives are easy to follow. The experiences of the characters are real and relatable. The language is vivid, so vivid that one feels as if they're a part of the narrative instead of a passive onlooker to the action. Empress, with your permission, allow me to read a short line from this treasure to demonstrate how vivid you were able to use language in this collection. And I say a short line. I recall I once went to a book launch, and I think it was one of the persons reviewing the book, they literally read the entire book. I would not do such injustice to those who want to enjoy the book. So I would read from page 57, and that short story is The Compassionate Grandmother. The splendid gold spun into silver, and the silver was stained by the haze of dusk. Ladies and gentlemen, she describes the setting sun, and the language is so vivid, I dare say Sir Derek Walcott could not best describe the setting sun. As I said, I would just read a very, very short section. My intent was merely to demonstrate as I did. I know as you read this labor of love, you will be drawn into the narrative and be transformed by the powerful messages which the author, Empress Stanley, attempts to convey. I must say, I described Empress earlier in the presentation as a cedar. And as I reflect on her accomplishment this evening, I recall when she indicated to me she was going to pursue an undergraduate degree at UWI. I smiled because I remembered a few years before, Empress indicated to me she wanted to go as far as possible. And today, as you heard, she's now pursuing postgraduate studies. As I close, I wish to echo the sentiments of Empress herself on page 100. And it renders thus: never lose hope, no matter the situation. You may just inspire an entire generation. It is my belief, and it is my fervent hope, that this enterprise, as I would like to call it, will inspire a generation. And even if it may not inspire an entire generation, it may just inspire one leader. It is also my hope that Empress will continue to spread her wings. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Right along, I will now call on the lady herself, the author, the one who was trying very hard and long to see this baby in reality. Yes, Empress
I adopt a protocol that is set before me. I always had a strong desire to achieve my goals in life, no matter my situation, with the help from the Lord and my well wishes. From time to time, I also refer to Thomas Jefferson's motivational quote: if you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. At this grand occasion, permit me to share the history of my life, to encourage everyone, the youth in particular, to work hard to achieve their goals in life, no matter the challenges. A brief background of where I came from. I came from a humble beginning. I am the daughter of Mr. Dorothy Chavez and Miss Empress Stanley. I am the grassroots granddaughter of grandparents who were employed to weed cane, drive the tractor cart of cane, and drive the locomotive of cane to the sugar factory. May the soul rest in eternal peace. I will now give you a brief history of my struggle to attain an education. After I completed Bashley High School, I attained 6 CXC subjects with the help of my parents and teachers, but I did not pass the English. I had a deep desire to attend the Clarence Fitzroy Brennan College, 6th form, in spite of my many challenges in life. So, I decided to attend Mr. Leroy's Pemberton English class. It was during his lessons the spark for short story writing became a passion for me. Upon completion of my studies with Mr. Leroy Pemberton, I started the GCE O-level English and passed. Through perseverance and diligence, I was accepted to attend the Clarence Fitzroy Brennan College, 6th form. For me, it was a dream come true. You can read more about my battle to attend the Clarence Fitzroy Brennan College by reading the story in my book entitled A Dream Come True. My first 2 terms at CFDC were a bit challenging, but I did well. However, I encountered some severe challenges in my last term as a first form student. It seemed like everything I made in terms of stepping out, for me it was as though the devil in the ministry was rising up against me. But I held on to the very end. Upon completion of my first year of pharmacy trial college, I passed all my courses except management studies. However, I had a passion to operate my own business one day. So I decided that I would retake the management of business along with my second year courses. Challenges again struck me, but this time stronger than I could have ever imagined. I was told that I could not register to take the management course along with my rest courses in my second year. I was very disappointed, but I was determined that come what may, I was going to do the subject. Then a classmate of mine asked me if I was taking the management exam. I told her that I was not allowed to take the management exam. She then replied and said, Empress, I don't understand. I only passed one subject. And I was allowed to write the exam. But at first I couldn't believe her because I felt like if she's telling me she's passed one subject, but how could she write the subject she wanted to write and I couldn't? Then she took out her examination script with her and she showed me the scope. Only one I passed. Then I was so puzzled for a while and I had to make a decision. And my decision was to become my own lawyer, to defend myself. I decided to go to the top of the fountain. And I went to the administrative office and I stated my case. She listened to me and she said to me, Empress, if you want to write that exam, you have to pay for it. But I was so disheartened because I knew at that time the government was paying for the exams and parents was only allowed to pay a little sum of money for a little supplement. So I said to her, okay, thank you. Feeling the pain in my heart, but I was so determined that, okay, my passport to defend myself is to get the money. So I decided I would get the money. I contacted my father and I told him about the situation. And he went to the bank and he drew the money. I counted the money and the registration aspect was completed. Upon graduation, I was so elated. I could not hold back the tears because I knew if I did not stand up for myself to be my own lawyer, today I would not be standing here and able to accomplish so much. Because for me, management, no matter what you do, whether you cook, whether you teach, or whatever aspect, you must be able to manage what you are doing. And for me, it was a plus for me to take that subject. So when I graduated, it was a dream come true. But I set my eyes on the horizon because for me, that was just the beginning. And it's only further push my passion to want to even pursue law. And that is why presently I am studying MBA law at Anglo-Muslim University because my ultimate goal is to become a corporate lawyer. But before that, I knew I had to get some income for myself to achieve my goal. So I applied to different business places to get a job. And the outcome was, Empress, we're sorry. We don't have any vacancy. We have you on file. And I got the same response for almost 4 years. But during that time, I worked out that I am determined to get my dream. And once God gives me the strength and the power to do what I have to do, no man can stop me. So, I look in society and I say to myself, other youths are facing the same challenge, but they are not bold enough to stand up for what they want for themselves. I will be the one to stand up for them. I will pave the way. So I decided to write some short stories because Mr. Leroy Pemberton convinced me that my short stories were great. So I said, I use my gift to spread the good news to help the youth. And I continue writing short stories, but linked to issues that plague the youth in society. While doing that, I had a passion for teaching. And I wanted to reach the youth. Never mind, I was not given the job to teach. I was willing to teach voluntarily. And I taught at the Barnsley High School voluntarily for 2 years. And I asked to teach the slow students. Because to me, sometimes those students are the ones that are overlooked. Sometimes they are led because of their background. And sometimes some people look at them and decide where they cannot rise. And some people, before they try to help them, they try to push them down. I'm a teacher, and I am not trying to bash a teacher. Sometimes we as teachers are guilty of doing the same thing. I am saying to you, give the youth a chance. Let them write the subject. If they fail and they really want to do the subject, they will do it again, and do it again, and do it again, until they pass. Because that's what I did. Because no man was going to stop me from achieving my goals. However, about 2 years later, I heard on the radio that Marcella wanted a teacher. For me, that was a golden opportunity. A week just before the beginning of the new school year commenced. I applied for the job on a given day. And by the time I got home, I got a call. Empress, come for an interview. I was so elated because I was accustomed to bad news. Empress, I have you on file. You are overqualified, and we don't have a job to suit you. But when I was given the job to teach at Maricela, I have made the decision with the help of the Lord and said, wherever it takes me, I'm going to make a difference in the student's life. And every single student that I got, I nurture them. I just want to teach them the basic subjects, all aspects of life. Because for me, they are tomorrow leaders. My first salary. For me, it was easier to sow all as seed. Because when you sow all as seed, the blessings will follow. The overflow of blessings that you can't even imagine. And right now, that is what I'm experiencing. Overflow of blessing. The gift of help from my parents, my teachers who taught me in high school, they are rallying behind me and even at CFBC to complete my studies. And some of my tutors and teachers have spoken already. Yes, I'm the type. If I do not understand something, I am not waiting till last minute to say I don't understand. God has blessed me with those teachers, some of them who have even left high school and gone into different jobs. So it means that the ability in different areas spread out. And for me, that was a gift for me. Because when I was thinking about, say, doing a course in management or in law, I knew who I could call on, and they would not let me down. And even at times when you come to payment, Empress, you are willing to learn. I'm not charging you, but it's your passport to help with you. And today, that's what helped me to stand here and thank God for almost completing my MBA in law. I almost take my thesis. And I give God thanks and praise for all of that. And to you, my audience, I encourage you purchase a book. Because purchasing a book means that it will give the company that myself and Mr. Sandra Keynes founded to help the youth, which is called Youth and Chapels and Professionals. A percentage of that sale will go towards helping the youth because it's a non-profit organization. I thank you.
I heard an amen, I heard an hallelujah, so this is more like a church service. Moving right along, we got Mr. Blake to give the opening.
Mr. Chairman, Lady of the Hour, Empress Stanley, guest speaker, and I see some other heavyweights in the audience, quite a few of them, Mr. Bedmead and others. Good evening. I certainly wish to, I'm happy to be here, and I'm also delighted to be a part of the process which has led to this culmination, the actual sale of Empress's opus. Now, I was also happy to be part of the exercise by assisting in some of the editing of the book, as you would note from the acknowledgements. And we have been lamenting from time immemorial the dearth of writers in our society. Ever since I was in high school, and certainly coming through sixth form and thereafter, I have heard again and again a lament that not enough of us in St. Kitts and Nevis, in fact not enough of us in the Caribbean in general, but certainly in our federation, have engaged in this beautiful practice of writing. We do not write anywhere close to enough. I would dare any one of you to challenge the notion that the number of books that have been published by locals, petitions and divisions, really does not approximate 1% of our population. In other words, a very small number of us have actually put that thought process into action and published, printed and published any kind of written material. And I'm not talking about the various theses and papers that we have to produce from time to time. I'm talking about actually combining these thoughts and these ideas into book form. This is what Empress has done, and I certainly commend that. I myself hope to join that select group sooner than later. Now, in reading the production and insight into life, a collection of short stories, I found, and I'm going to be very brief here, that it blends, as it were, the humorous with the serious, which in my mind makes it very apt and fitting for a multitude of audiences. In my estimation, as you read the stories, they weave, as it were, tapestry of intrigue, of interest, of incredulity at times, and insistence, proving, ladies and gentlemen, that perseverance pays. That's what I get from reading books. I also find that the morals at the end of each story provide very useful and timely lessons for our students of the hour. I believe that the messages that are contained in the stories are not only appropriate, but a prerequisite for our young people. In my mind, the students who attend our high schools and teachers training college and the sixth form, CFBC in general, they are the ones who epitomize youth in all its glory in my mind. And I believe that the morals that encapsulate the various stories in Empress's book are really appropriate and very well needed for the hour. In fact, Mrs. Stanley, I want to recommend that the Ministry of Education considers buying the text and making it compulsory reading for students in grades 5 to 8. So it would be very nice if the ministry were to make an order for 5,000 to 6,000 of these books and pass them on. It will also help the foundation which Empress and her partner have established. And so I want to recommend the book as a matter of fact. And I am not one of those who easily recommend things, so to speak, because I have established for myself, especially with respect to literature, that the writings must reach a particular level. They must not just border on excellence, they must actually be swimming in the depths of excellence in order for me to recommend it. And so I'm happy to announce that Empress's book, especially because it's her first foray into the world of writing, meets that criteria. And I recommend it. Thank you very much.
It's a very good recommendation. I am just sorry that the PS who intended to be here could not have been here. It's an illness. There is a person who, at the moment, could have put something like that into action. As we move along, we will now call on Mr. Christian Nathaniel to give a musical selection.
Just before you come to that,
delighted I am to be part of this significant book launch, which to my mind represents the flowering of a very willing, hard-working, and ambitious student, Miss Empress Stanley. I do not think a text is going to be meaningful unless I set it in a larger context. So I crave your indulgence, ladies and gentlemen, to suggest that Empress Stanley's an insight into life really forms part of a significant and growing body of writing in today's world, which we call post-colonial literature, literature after the days of the empire. I think it is significant because some literary experts have often referred to her kind of writing as the empire writing back to the center. You had men like Naipaul and the others who had to go to the British Imperial Center to write. But I think Stanley's writing today represents ordinary people on the margins who now enjoy the freedom to tell their own story, to tell it in their own voice, and to tell it with their own focus. And I think I want to commend her very highly for this. In addition, not only is it amazing because it forms part of that significant body of writing, but because her writing, to my mind, pulled together a cluster of very exciting and relevant themes. I have had the privilege of reading them through, and the very first story, What Went Wrong, forms the first part of the frame for the entire story. What went wrong is really the conflict between a father and a son. And the resolution of what went wrong and exactly what went wrong is your adventure to discover. But having started with this story, the final story, which is a coda, is the story of a trainee pilot who battles with a doomed craft. And the outcome of that story is so exciting that I'm leaving that for you to discover what happened to this trainee pilot on this flight. And so the entire text is framed in conflict and struggle. Perhaps in life, people do enjoy conflict-free relationships. But if the short story has no conflict, it is just as good as a dead dog. And so from the very first story to the very last, Empress has kept me riveted to those stories because of conflict and the desire to discover what happened. Between these two extremes, the beginning and the ending, we find a cluster of exciting, relevant themes that speak to the complexity of life, as she rightly presents in her title, An Insight into Life. She speaks in some stories of bullying, negative peer pressure, health anxiety, going to a doctor, poverty, education, and of course that must-read autobiographical piece, A Dream Come True, or semi-autobiographical piece, which is really in essence the journey of her life story and the success she has experienced. Now, many of these things, bullying, anxiety, education, you will agree that most of them are universally recognizable. But some of them, like the trainee pilot, are enticingly unfamiliar. But all of them, whether they are universally recognizable or enticingly unfamiliar, all of them are satisfying and enlightening. And I want to suggest, if you begin reading one, you can't really experience the essence of the text until you've read another and another and another to complete the entire frame. Now, especially exciting about the text is that she uses many voices. Some of these stories are told from people observing what's happening. Others are more intimate and close-up, where a character in the story tells you about his or her experiences. And added to that distant observer or a character who is involved, we have notes, telephone calls, and realistic dialogue, and all of these create a medley of, it sounds almost like a beautiful chorus when you read it. And so the different ways by which it tells a story are means of keeping the readers all glued and excited about the exploration of these important themes. Now, I also find very significant and amazing the way she fleshes out the setting. Realistic detail. Every student in high school who is reading, who is doing stakes in English, this is a must buy text. You heard our keynote speaker read some of those colorful phrases. I believe in using the best phrases, and the setting is very vividly fleshed out by that. But what I love above everything else is the use of actual place names. Dorset, Independence Square, and that's part of the setting. And in addition to that, she uses occasionally our own dialect or vernacular, very sparingly, to suggest that this is our own product. Not to mention, of course, the beautiful turns of phrases. All of these are tremendous benefits I've gained by reading the text. Finally, she never lets you lose sight of the focus of the text. Every story ends with a very crisp moral that keeps you focused. And I think it makes an especially strong appeal to the young people and to older ones alike who might be wondering, what may I take away from the story? I want to make a final statement in this book review. What we have here is really a treasury of rich experiences that are made appealing by her own creative imagination. And if you only dip into the treasury, investing time, patience, and effort, you will win. Now this reading will repay you tremendous interest. So, no reader should walk away from this collection without having a richer and deeper and a more exciting insight into life. Ms. Stanley, congratulations, and I want to wish you happy reading as you take away this masterpiece.
Along, we'll now call on Empress Stanley to present some books, presentation of books.
First and foremost, I would like a copy of my book in my alma mater university, the University of the West Indies. Without further ado, I will ask the university representative to please come forward and accept my gift of token. I'm employed as the Senior Memorial in the school. And for me, being a part of that team, I want to see my team succeed as well. So, without further ado, I will now call on the principal of the school, Mrs. Isin Masima, to accept a book on behalf of the school. Thank you. And for you, my audience, there's a surprise. All of you are well seated, but someone of you will be a winner of a copy of that book. So, I would like you to look on this seat and see if you find my business card. If you find my business card, you are the winner of the book.
Hey guys.
Come forward, Miss Stanley.
I would like to say something. I gave the card to the usher, and the usher placed it on this lady chair. Now, this lady is very, loved by Empress. They are very close, and I don't want anybody to think that it was a setup. And the usher who puts on this young lady, she will please stand so they know who you are. This is it. We have reached to the end, and very good timing. I will now ask Ms. Amanda Edmead to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Distinguished table, in particular, our budding offer, Empress Stanley, and Speaker Mr. Woodley. I would like to say that I have known Empress for a very long time. I've been here for almost 20 years, and I think I've known her for that entire time at Baxter High School, where I taught her and her sisters geography. And then she turned around and has taught my son in grade 4 at Maurice Hillier Memorial School. And I have to say that every time I see her, how very proud I am of Empress's accomplishments. I am very aware of the challenges that Empress would have faced, especially when she was at Baxter High School. And I'm also very aware of her determination to succeed from since that very time. I'm glad to see her mom. Hi, Mom. I haven't seen you in a long time. And I'm glad to see so many people present. So I would like to say, first of all, thanks to God Almighty for blessing Empress with wisdom, with drive, determination, and persistence to achieve her dreams, and for allowing her to surmount the challenges of life, and for surrounding her with so many supportive individuals. I would also like to say thanks to all of those who have assisted Empress in getting her book published. And for those who have made this launch possible, in particular the University of the West Indies for using the space, the presence of the Governor General. He may have had to leave, but he took the time to come out, which I felt was very good. Our guest speaker, Mr. Vaughan, for your remarks. You have whetted our appetite with your literary device. And when you said so, I felt that yes, I'm going to see something from Empress's book, some excerpts on one of our communication studies examinations, and we'll answer what does that literary device speak to. So we have been whetted by the appetite of the guest speaker, and also those who reviewed Empress's book, Mr. Pemberton, Mr. Blake, Mr. King. Am I leaving anybody else out? Yes. And all of the reviews have really served to encourage all of us to ensure that we obtain a copy of Empress's book. I am really, my interest is piqued. Empress would have told me to order the book online. Unfortunately, my time is not my time, but I will have a copy of that book this evening, but I will read it when I go on vacation in July, when I have enough time to savor it. yours to Sanjay, which I got a while back. Sanjay is also my former student as well. So I would like to say thanks to those who reviewed the book. Mr. Nathaniel Christian, also my former student, and he has disappeared. I would like to say thanks to Christian for that lovely rendition. The technicians, the ushers, the Lizel, and all the media houses for providing coverage, and for those who will be providing refreshments this evening. So I would like, and to all of you, for gracing us with your presence this evening. Your presence here has shown that this is important, and Empress is important, and her achievements are important. So thank you very much.